Welcome to the Explainer. Look, today we are tackling a highly emotional topic, and I mean especially for parents. We're going to be looking at some really compelling data and insights straight from the Equal Chance Boxing Foundation. Our goal? To completely deconstruct the stigma surrounding youth boxing and, redefine what safety actually means when it comes to this sport. Okay, let's dive into this because honestly, if you are a parent, this is the exact question keeping you up at night, right? Is boxing actually safe for my child? And hey, it's a completely valid fear. When you think of boxing, you probably picture those brutal professional prize fights on TV. You envision ultra aggressive gyms, black eyes, and the totally terrifying prospect of head injuries. That massive red flag going up in your mind, that's just your fundamental hardwired instinct to protect your child from harm. So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to cover 1. Stigma versus reality. 2. Brain first safety philosophy. 3. Building psychological armor. 4. The Ivan Redkach standard. And finally, 5. Erasing the financial wall. Let's start with Section 1, Stigma versus Reality. It's time to separate fact from fiction. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive core misunderstanding about the sport. On one side, we've got this wild fight club myth. Unregulated violence, street brawling, sheer aggression. But the developmental reality is entirely different. When a teen joins a professional program like the Equal Chance Boxing Foundation, they aren't joining a fight club. They're entering a highly structured academy. The curriculum isn't violence, it's biomechanics, physical chess, and extreme discipline. In fact, if any athlete uses their training for street violence or bullying, they are instantly removed. The absolute priority here is the art of movement, way before the act of striking. Now, you might assume boxing training is just nonstop sparring, right? But here's a really surprising fact. Beginner boxing is actually 80% conditioning and technique and only 20% controlled contact. There's a reason they call it the sweet science. It is deeply rooted in physics and geometry. A beginner is going to spend months just jumping rope, shadow boxing, and learning how to properly pivot their feet before they ever face a live opponent. The focus is entirely on mastering their own body first, not destroying someone else's. Moving on to Section 2, Brain First Safety Philosophy. Let's talk about protecting those growing brains. So with this facility, contact is an earned privilege, not a right. You might think they just throw kids in the ring. Actually, scratch that. The progression is incredibly strict. Step 1 is the zero contact phase. Teens spend their first several months just learning stance, balance, and keeping their hands up, with absolutely zero head contact, period. Step 2 is defensive mastery. They don't even learn to throw a punch until they've passed rigorous evaluations on slipping, blocking, and evading. Only then do they reach Step 3, supervised flow sparring, and even that is conducted at just 10 to 20% power. The goal isn't to win or inflict pain. It's literally just practicing keeping your eyes open and executing defensive maneuvers under absolute, constant supervision. And this strict progression is backed by some serious, non-negotiable physical armor. Even during that super light 10 to 20% flow sparring, professional grade 16-ounce gloves, which are specifically designed to absorb impact, not deal damage, are mandatory. Add in USA Boxing approved high-density foam headgear to absorb shock, plus mandatory custom-fitted mouthguards. This elite physical protection is absolutely mandated the second an athlete steps onto the mat. No exceptions. All right, Section 3, Building Psychological Armor. Because mental safety comes first. For a lot of underprivileged youth, or really any teen dealing with turbulence at home or in school, the boxing gym provides what experts call a third space. This is a vital sanctuary. Think about it. When a teenager wraps their hands and starts their workout, all the chaos of their outside life just fades away. The gym offers extreme predictability, crystal clear rules, and immediate objective feedback. In this space, they aren't judged by past mistakes, they aren't judged by their family's income or their academic struggles. They are judged solely by their willingness to show up and work hard today. And the science behind why this works is just fascinating. We know unexpressed anger can become super destructive, right? But hitting a heavy bag burns the stress hormone cortisol and releases endorphins. It acts as a highly structured release valve. A teenager quickly realizes that wild, angry swings are just going to exhaust them in seconds. To actually be powerful, they have to calm their mind, regulate their breathing, and hyper-focus on technique. This process literally turns chaotic anger into laser-focused discipline. By facing their deepest fears in this physically demanding environment, they build an intrinsic confidence that acts as psychological armor long after they leave the gym. Which brings us to Section 4, the Ivan Redkach standard. This is safety authored by the pros. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the unique combination we're looking at. Elite athletics, followed by some intense, real-world hardship. The founder and head coach, Ivan Redkach, had roughly 350 amateur bouts and even represented Ukraine at the 2008 Olympic Games before turning pro. But in 2009, he moved to the United States and faced a brutal reality. We're talking severe language barriers, predatory management, and terrifying poverty. But here's the thing, he uses this lived trauma to genuinely connect with at-risk youth. He offers authentic, earned empathy, making sure the gym is a place of profound emotional safety, where a teenager can fail, struggle, and grow without any fear of humiliation. And because of that intense professional background, his understanding of physical safety is totally unparalleled. As our source material notes, he understands the biomechanics of defense better than anyone. He does not guess when a child is ready for contact. He knows exactly what microscopic flaws in their footwork could leave them vulnerable. Because he has competed at the absolute highest, most dangerous levels of the sport, he has a profound respect for the damage boxing can do if it's not properly managed. His professional pedigree is the ultimate safety net, ensuring these kids are never, ever pushed beyond safe physiological limits. Finally, Section 5, erasing the financial wall, because accessibility goes hand in hand with safety. So the crucial point is this: $0. That's the ultimate barrier breaker. When sports programs charge exorbitant monthly fees, they inadvertently force lower-income families toward unregulated, totally unsafe environments where kids actually do get hurt. While the Equal Chance Boxing Foundation absolutely refuses to accept this. They operate a 100% free sports program, no registration fees, no monthly dues, no hidden costs. And on top of that, they supply every single piece of that elite safety gear we talked about earlier, completely free of charge. No child is going to train in cheap, unsafe gear just because of their family's income bracket. And they actually go even further to ensure access. Transportation is often a massive hurdle for families, right? To solve this, their community training initiative literally brings mobile boxing rings directly out to local parks and underserved neighborhoods. They're breaking down every conceivable transportation hurdle, bringing these uncompromising safety standards and professional mentors directly to the kids who need them the absolute most. Which brings us right back to where we started. We asked at the very beginning, is boxing safe? But maybe we need to reframe that initial fear. The real question is, what is the true danger? What happens if we leave an anxious, frustrated teenager without a structured outlet or a positive role model to help them navigate the crazy, turbulent waters of adolescence? The risks of doing nothing are profound. When guided by authentic mentors, protected by elite gear, and governed by a strict brain-first philosophy, youth boxing isn't just safe, it's life-saving. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this vital topic today. Keep learning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.